Redraft season is finally here, so you know the Fantasy Joker has you covered. I'm coming in with my 5 wide receivers that I'm targeting in this year's fantasy football drafts. Number 1, A.J. Brown. He's uncoverable. He's coming off a season of 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns, and Jalen Hurts is supposed to take another step forward in the passing game. So just imagine if that actually happens and AJ's numbers were to actually come up. I mean, now you're talking about he could be potentially pushing Tyreek Hill for the lead in receiving yards this upcoming next season. And, you're getting into record territory when you start talking about 1,800 plus yards. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but to me, I feel like I don't see a real chance for regression here. I mean, at minimum, he's going to have another 1,300 yards, and I would expect another 10 to 12 touchdowns. So, to me, A.J. Brown's probably the safest pick, because he's also just young, studly, healthy. He's everything you're looking for in a wide receiver, and he's the best value out of all the first-round wide receivers because he's going after all of them.
Who I am? I'm Mo Green. I made my bones when you were going out with cheerleaders.
Wait a minute.
Next up, number 2 for me is Drake London. I know, it's a small pie there in terms of the passing share in Atlanta. Arthur Smith is usually not my favorite coach to target in terms of the passing game. However, Arthur Smith has shown in the past, even back when he was offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, that he's able to utilize a big body wide receiver kind of like A.J. Brown. And so I actually view Drake London as like an A.J. Brown light. So again, I'm not saying that Drake London is A.J. Brown or is going to produce at that same level, but I do see him as having like a breakout season. I see him eclipsing 1,000 yards, and I think he could flirt with double-digit touchdowns and be an excellent value at his ADP because he tends to be going around the 5th or 6th round.
We want Kramer. He showed us how much he cares about Steven.
Don't ever go against the family, Jerry.
Next up, the rookie, Jordan Addison. I mean, hey, I kind of love all the rookies this year. Unfortunately, JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, to me, he's the most talented. But, obviously with the wrist surgery, there's a lot of question marks now surrounding him, and he's also in a crowded wide receiver room when you're talking about DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. I love the explosion of Zay Flowers. I love the length of Quentin Johnston. But to me, Jordan Addison, fantasy experts and analysts have pounded the table all year that the wide receiver 2 for the Minnesota Vikings just has tremendous value. I think when you add that to the clear and obvious talent that Jordan Addison has on the football field, I think he's going to have a really nice season. I think he's going to outproduce his ADP, and so he's definitely one of the wide receivers that I'm targeting. For me, it really is. I'm happy if I come away with Jordan Addison or Zay Flowers, because I see Zay as taking over as the one for his team, and where Jordan Addison doesn't have a path to ever being the wide receiver 1 over Justin Jefferson, the fact that Justin Jefferson is able to draw coverage away from him is just only going to help Jordan Addison produce fantasy points for your team.
Too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Number 4. Kind of have been going back and forth, but, Deontay Johnson for me is the safe pick. He's the obvious PPR guy with great value. His ADP has kind of fluctuated a little bit, where I've seen it as low as the 8th, 9th round, and I've seen it come up as high as the 6th round. It seems to have settled kind of right around the middle of the 6th, early 7, which to me is still an excellent value. Obviously, you're looking at last year he had 0 touchdowns, goose egg, and I don't expect that to happen because it would be a really crappy season if Kenny Pickett, threw 7 touchdowns again. But by all reports and by all what we've seen through training camp and the preseason. Kenny Pickett obviously looks like he's progressing. The whole offense looks like it's taken a step forward. And that just means good things for Deontay Johnson. I also really love George Pickens. I think he's more of the red zone threat, but Deontay Johnson is still the wide receiver 1 for this team and the true PPR target that you want to make sure that you are targeting in your drafts.
I do renounce them.
Hey! Hey!
And number 5, I'm hooked on a Thielen. Hey, we're bringing back the classics. I know old man Thielen, nobody wants to draft him, and that's kind of why I love targeting him, because he is one of those guys that I'm going to be trying to get in the last rounds of my draft. First of all, he's a veteran presence for a rookie quarterback, and on a team that lacks veterans in the passing game. You know, you're talking about a combination of Jonathan Mingo, DJ Chark, and Laviska Shenault. Those are all young guys. Like, those aren't, old, reliable, like, route running, veteran type wide receivers. And we've already seen through this preseason that Adam Thielen has been heavily targeted by Bryce Young, both on third downs and in red zone. In fact, Bryce Young's first preseason touchdown was to Adam Thielen. And even last year when Adam Thielen was, on an obvious decline, he still had 70 receptions. Like, he still had 700 yards. He had less touchdowns than he normally has. And so that's where the fantasy value was not there where it had formerly been. But, with the juice of being on a new team and just being reinvigorated in that way, I think Adam Thielen is just a smash pick, again, at the end of your draft. I'm not recommending that you take him with, anything before, like, the 10, I guess, in, like, really deep leagues, like, 10, but for the most part, he should be like your 12th round selection. And it's like, at that point, if he provides early value where he has 4 good weeks, just say he has 4 good weeks right off the bat, you're able to use him a couple times as a flex spot start, that just means he's going to have increased trade value that you can then package and trade away. I do that with Tyler Lockett all the time as well. So these kind of, these veteran wide receivers that get overlooked and suddenly, at the beginning of the season when everyone has fresh legs and they're producing, then everyone kind of wants to snap them up. But like I said, Adam Thielen is already showing to me that he's going to be used on crucial downs for the Panthers. And so again, he's one of my favorite late round targets. Him and Mac Hollins, because I can't have any soft teams, so I got to make sure I get Mac Hollins on as many teams as I can. Thank you so much for watching. Check out some of my other videos for your top 5s, and catch you all on the flip side.
Godfather, is it your wish that this child be baptized?
It is.